Hi, my name is Deb Weiss-Gelmi, and this is a gentle yoga class. So if you have a chair in your house that you could use, that would be helpful. It can be a folding chair or it could even be a dining room chair. And so we'll start with that in the middle of our mat. If you need to go get a chair, you can pause for a moment and come right back. So we'll start out sitting in our chair. Move yourself to the front of the chair, so it's really just your buttocks on the chair and the thighs are off the chair. And then the heels are right underneath the knees. And then just rest your hands on your thighs. And then notice your posture. Try to sit with your front armpit higher than your back armpit. Another way to think of it is your sternum lifting up. And then your shoulders away from the ears. And soften your face. For this first little bit, close your eyes. Notice the weight of your feet. Press through the inner heel, big toe mound of your feet. And soften your inner thighs. Notice any tension you're holding in your inner thighs and release that. And then lift your sternum up toward the ceiling and take your shoulders away from your ears. And then lengthen through the crown of the head, as though your spine is continuing to lengthen up through to the crown of your head. Soften the muscles around your eyes. Soften the muscles of your cheeks and your jaw. So your torso is working to lift your front body up and take your shoulders away from your ears. But your face is completely relaxed. And then we'll gently open the eyes. And then we'll stand. For our first pose, Tadasana. Press through the inner heel, big toe mound. Press the thighs back slightly and the middle buttock forward slightly. And then lift the side ribs up. Lift the sternum and take the shoulders away from the ears. Point the fingers toward the floor. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And then we'll take our arms out in front of us. Straighten your arms. Lengthen them. Straighten the elbows. And then as we move our arms up and over the head, take your inner upper arm toward the wall behind you. Reaching those arms up, shoulders away from the ears. Spread the palms. Press through the inner heel, big toe mound. And lengthen. Urdhva Hastasana. And then bring the arms down. Stop in the middle for a moment or out in front of you and see if your arms are as straight as you thought they were. And then bring them down in front of you. Back to Tadasana. So our next pose is called Badanguliasana. So clasp the fingers together. Take the palms away. Draw your outer arms toward each other. And then as you take your arms up, take your shoulders away from your ears. So lengthening the hands up, but the shoulders down. Press the front thighs back and the middle buttock forward slightly. Opening that front chest. And then we'll switch the clasp of our hands. So whichever thumb is in front, you'll switch to the opposite. Switch that thumb behind and then each of the fingers behind and then take the palms away again. And then reach those arms up toward the ceiling. Lengthening away from the feet. And then bring those shoulders away from the ears. Draw the outer arms toward your head. Badanguliasana. And then release the hands, palms face each other. and arms down. Back to Tadasana. So the next pose is a twist. So we'll turn the chair around so the back of the chair is facing your screen or your video. So the back facing the screen. And then you'll sit in the chair sideways. Scoot yourself to the back of the chair. So lengthen up through the crown of the head. And on your exhalation, turn toward the back of the chair. Now the hip that you're turning away from tends to lift. So take that outer hip toward the floor as you turn away from it. Shoulders away from the ears. Soften the face. Don't strain the neck. The neck is just a natural extension of the twist of the torso. And then we'll slowly turn around to the other side, just walking our feet around if it works in your chair. And then again, the heels underneath the knees, lift the torso up. And on your next exhalation, turn toward the back of the chair. And again, that hip that we're turning away from, take toward the floor. And twist. Shoulders away from the ears. Again, no strain in the neck. Your head is just coming along for the ride with the work of the torso. And then slowly unwind. And then we'll go back to the other side. We'll do the same thing again on each side. So lengthen through the crown of the head. And on your exhalation, turn toward the back of the chair. Shoulders away from the ears. Notice if that hip that you're turning away from is lifting, and if so, release that toward the floor. Shoulders away from the ears and soften the face. No strain in the neck. And we'll slowly unwind and go back to the other side. My heels are right underneath my knees. I soften the inner thighs, lengthen through the crown of the head, and turn toward the back of the chair. That outer hip going down toward the floor, shoulders away from the ears, soften the face and the throat and the neck. Turn the torso. And we'll slowly unwind and stand. So the next pose is Parshva Asta Padangustasana. So we'll put the chair against the wall and then stand with the chair next to on your right side. And then lift your right leg up and open up the leg. So now that top thigh is rolling from the inside out, or from toward the wall is another way you can think of it. The heel is right underneath the knee, and then the navel and the chest are opening away from that leg. You can put your hand on your hip, or you can put your hand down, or you could have it against the wall for stability. So it's like an opening of a book. My ribs and my navel are going this way, and my thigh, or the top thigh, is going toward the wall. And you can hold on to the chair seat for stability. You can hold on to the wall for stability. So one thing you want to make sure doesn't happen is this hip poking out. So you want to draw that outer hip in and soften the inner thigh. So drawing the outer left hip in and softening the inner thigh. And then we'll bring that leg back in front of us and take it down to the floor. And then we'll go to the other side. So I have the wall behind me for stability. I have the handrail here. And then I lift the left leg up and open up the thigh. Have the heel right underneath the knee. And then the standing heel right underneath the hip. And then draw the outer right hip in as you soften the inner thigh. So again, this top thigh rolling toward the wall behind you, and then the navel and the chest rolling away. You can have your hand on your hip or lower down toward the floor. So drawing that outer right hip in, softening the inner thigh. And then we'll bring that leg back down, bring it in front of you, and then set it down on the floor. So our next pose is Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So we're going to do a high version where I put my hands on the back of the chair and then I step my feet back. This can also be done with your hands on the wall. But for this video's sake, you can see me better if my hands are on the chair. You could have your hands on the table, anything. This is a nice pose to do anytime throughout the day when you're walking through your house and you want to just do a nice stretch. You can put your hands onto the table surface and lengthen. So press the thighs away, lengthen across the ribs, up through the hands, pressing those thighs away. Now if you do downward dog and you want to do that here, you can go ahead and take your hands to the floor or the chair seat. But for this one, we're just going to stay with our hands on the back of the chair. And then we'll walk in to come on out. And let's do it one more time. You can either do the same one that we just did on this height, or you can take your hands to the chair seat. And it just takes the hands a little bit lower and step back. But there's no need to have to go low. You can stay higher if you wish. And just lengthening, press those thighs away. Draw the outer arms toward each other as you lengthen, pressing those thighs away. And then we'll walk back in and stand up. And then we'll end again in the same way that we started, sitting on the chair with our eyes closed. So have your heels right underneath the knees. Put your hands onto your thighs. Lift, hoping that you're feeling a little bit more open than when we started. So lift that side chest up, take your shoulders away from the ears, and close your eyes. Soften the muscles on your face. Soften the inner thighs. And then lift that side chest up. Lift the sternum up. Take your shoulders away from your ears and soften your face. Notice if there's any tension left in your face and try to let go of the muscles around your eyes, the muscles around your cheeks. Unhinge your lower jaw from your upper jaw, allowing for maybe a little bit of space between your upper and lower teeth. Again, lift your sternum up, your front chest up. Take the shoulders away from the ears. So we're softening the muscles in the face, but you want to keep your chest lifted. Also softening the muscles of your abdomen, softening the muscles of the inner thigh, but lifting the sternum. Soften again the muscles on the face. And then we'll open our eyes. And there's a tradition in yoga where we say namaste, which means the light in me honors the light in you, or the best in me greets the best in you. So we join our hands together in front of them in the middle of our chest and say namaste. Thank you so much for joining us today.